Is most everybody here? Well, it's 9 a.m., so I'll go ahead and get started, huh? Okay. I call the meeting to order. General session is scheduled to start at 9 a.m., which
I must have misheard you. Did you ask me to move forward, President Gaskell?
I think Rob is
session
frozen.
for the purpose of voting. I'm frozen.
Rob,
can you hear me?
You froze for, I think, even before you spoke, actually.
Am I here now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So should I read that all over again? Probably, huh? The general session is scheduled to start at 9 a.m. and will continue to the end of the business. Executive session is closed to the public, will follow, continuing to the end of the business. The board expects to come out of executive session into general session for the purpose of voting and on the cases discussed during executive session and other applicable board business. Mr. Ryan, Christopher, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Start with President Gaskell.
Here.
Vice President Canizares.
Here.
Secretary Treasurer Porter.
Here.
Member Collins.
Here.
Member Harris.
Here.
Member Houston.
Here.
Member Johnson. Is Elizabeth Johnson with us? For the record, we do not currently have member Elizabeth Johnson. Member Leader.
Here.
For the record, member Loveland is excused. Member Negus.
Here.
We do have one vacant board member position for the record. AAG DeChamps.
Present.
Director Dresselhaus.
Here.
Staff member Brown.
Present.
I, staff member Christopher, am present. Staff member Hune.
Here.
Staff member Idkin.
Here.
Staff member Nelson.
Here.
Staff member Cowell.
Present.
That concludes roll call.
I'm sorry, my screen just froze and now it's back. We did roll call and approval of the general session meeting minutes of April 14th. There a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Mr. President, I apologize. Deb, would you like to formalize who would be doing the motions and doing the second? Because that person has to have the summaries of the case reports.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. So can we do Neil be first and Melissa be second, or vice versa? Let's do vice versa. Melissa, are you okay with that?
Yes.
And so,
okay. So
Aaron,
Melissa,
I'm sorry.
Be first.
Yeah,
Aaron
I
will
apologize.
be first, and Neil will be second.
Thank you, Melissa. So, Aaron, could you please email that packet you sent me to Melissa. Melissa, can you print?
I have it.
You have it? Perfect. Thank you. We're all good. Thank you.
Okay, and then, so do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from April 14th?
Mr. President, I'd like to move to approve the general session meeting minutes from April 14th of 2026.
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion about that? Tony, did you see any errors in that we need to address or anything?
No,
None
none on
being-
my end.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? So moved. Let's go to President's comments. I'd like to make a comment more for the public and our board members and things. I've been under, we've been under a lot right now as a board. And with our financial situation, I know there's a lot of concern going on with this. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that this is not being taken lightly. It is a long process. We're working with state agencies from the governor's office, DOJ, accounting, DAS, all this stuff to get this figured out legally and otherwise, and what's best for our community. For us as funeral professionals and owners, this does affect us too, and we're not willy-nilly making decisions. I just want to make it very clear to especially the public that's with us today that I'm so thankful that are here, so that way we can make sure we are diligently, legally, and for the care of our industry to do the best we can. Rugi and I have both spent many hours on the phone with HR, with Sherry Lauer, who's amazing. We have other meetings coming up. I've spent a lot of time with Chad and Tone and Aaron, going through options and ideas and how we can do this in the best way possible, and to make sure it never happens again. And we got to fully understand how we got here. It's going to take time. I appreciate all of our staff that have been working on this and just what's been going on. And I appreciate our board members for being there also. Unfortunately, as board members, we can't just sit down and talk to each other about all this stuff. So we have to do it in a certain way, and that's at these meetings. Please know, I just want to make sure everybody understands how hard we're working on this, and it's not being taken lightly at all. So thank you for that. Now we can go to the presentation of an approval of the executive director's report.
I have a question, Rob.
If I may, it looks like Neil has a comment or a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah.
able to see everything. on
It's
here
difficult
today.
to see in the gallery sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Neil. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I just wondered, is there a timeline that we know, like, when does this go out for public comment, and when does it come back to the board, and when will we get, further information and to be able to discuss the options again?
Yeah. So one of the next question, when we get down to general discussion, our first topic is setting up that board meeting. So that we're going to be meeting in August sometime once we get all the information, then we're going to be able to sit down and go through this in a meeting. And, Tony, I was wondering, we'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead, Chad, with your executive director's report.
Thank you, Rob. And yes, Neil, I will address your questions. Like Rob said, when the general session topics start coming up. So
Okay.
here's on the screen. I believe everyone's received the executive director's report. Verified these numbers with shared financial services. You will notice that under the biennial budget that the beginning cash balance was adjusted, somewhat just it's a difference of $2,714 and $40. And you'll see at the asterisks, it explains how why it was, if you will, incorrect, because there are some reconciling during the biennium. So that explains kind of the difference between what was previously reported as a beginning cash balance, but actually it is a little less than that, just based on some internal calculations and adjustments that they make throughout the year during the biennium that is reported here. Oh, yes, Neil.
Yeah, and I probably should know this, and I should have been paying attention to it, so I'm sorry if this is a dumb question. And maybe we talk more about it offline. But it, like where it says the first line that has all sources, total biennium budget of 3,587,000. But then when you talk about the beginning cash balance, it's 2,143,000. Why is there, what's that difference between the annual budget revenue that's listed at the top and the annual budget revenue that's listed in your comment?
So the 25-27 total biennial budget is the legislatively approved amount that we are allowed to spend. The beginning cash balance that's reported below that is the cash reserve carried over from the previous biennium. So
Okay.
at the end of the previous biennium, there was, roughly 2.143 million. And with the 25-27 biennial budget, our budget was approved to basically equal that amount. So it's kind of a carryover from previous, because typically you don't want to be at a zero balance. You want to have a cash balance that kind of carries over from biennium to biennium. And
Right.
most likely they won't be the same number because it's a carryover from the previous. And then that's the 3.5 or 3 almost 3.6 is the amount that has been approved by the legislature for that specific biennium.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. It's a good question to ask. Thank you. Okay, next, licensing, all the those who've been. Oh, Ryan?
Thank you. Before we move on from the agency's biennial budget revenue section, I did want to just ask, or rather see if we can get any information on this, but I noticed that under the agency's biennial budget review section of the executive director's statement, or rather a statement that appeared on the reports from October 2024 through July 2025. So all of the executive director's reports during that time frame included a statement that read, "These projections do not account for Oregon FSPs that are filing death certificates with Oregon vital records using Idaho funeral establishments as the funeral home of record, and therefore are responsible for paying the Oregon death registration filing fees. However, there is not currently a mechanism for collecting these fees." And starting in October of 2025, that statement no longer appeared in the reports. Is that statement no longer true? If it was and is still true, then why is the statement no longer included in the reports?
I would have to look to why it was removed. I know I'm working with Vital Records right now and establishing a way to capture that revenue.
So I feel as though that would be one of the factors that should be included as we are trying to deal with a budget crisis. If we have no idea what amount
Hey, Ryan,
not being
this is not the
accounted for.
time. This is not the time for this, Ryan. So you need to back off. Okay, go ahead, Chad.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. So here are the licensing statistics from last April and July, and I believe this is ending. These are the reported numbers from July 7th of the licensing and then the changes. Ryan, did you want to add anything about licensing?
No, thank you.
Okay, and then here's the inspection section. And you will see that they're reported quarterly. Oh, Sherry?
Just a quick clarifying question on the chart that's at the top. Am I reading that right? Then that is saying that as of May, the close of business May, that our expenditures are exceeding revenues?
Are you referring to the top,
The very top
the
chart?
very top? Let me see.
Yeah. So does that mean expenditures at 3.6 are exceeding, or so we're over budget? Is that what I'm
Well,
reading?
based on this, the total expenditures are exceeding what we have, the percentage. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I have to look into that. That's because I'm thinking that is our well, because the amount, so the total biennial budget, I need to look into that. The total biennial budget is 3.5, almost 3.6. 43% has been received. 43% of that has been received. The total expenditures is 3.6, and I don't think that's changed. So, and then we've received we've spent 40% of that. So that's a good question that I will ask.
Also, for the record, I'd like to say Elizabeth is here now.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Sorry.
You're good.
Angela has her hand raised.
Oh, okay, Angela, go ahead. Well,
No, I just had a question that I was gonna ask in regarding to the top where it says the revenue, all sources. Does that include the funds that are removed and put into the IDP program? So the very first line, revenue, all sources, including cash reserves and reimbursement, we have 1,540,102. Does that include what is inside the IDP? And if is the amount that is going into IDP that is not part of general fund?
So I believe, oh, Rugi?
Go ahead, and then I can answer on behalf of the board in terms of the financials with permission from Melissa, because Melissa knows I have done a deep dive on this.
Oh,
So
well,
go
if you
ahead,
want to
Sherry.
address it, Rugi.
So we're
Feel
getting
free.
hung up with this report, and this report basically is just for reporting purposes for a director's report. This is not an accurate representation in what the actual financial sheets look like. For example, for starters, this is a commingled amount that includes the IDP fund. So if you were to subtract that, this will be completely different. That I think we're getting bogged down to the weeds, and I'm not trying to diminish everybody's concerns and questions, but this is a generalized landscape for budgeting purposes from one biennium to the other. And this does not capture at all what we're trying to dive into. And so rest assured, I already met with the financial offices, and it's not this place to have that detailed discussions, but I can assure you that this is not this is what it does, is what Chad is trying to do, is to just give it the totals of this. And this does not capture the details of the financial situation we're in. that I think we should just move forward. And like what Rob had said, things are in place now in the process. Unfortunately, we were hoping to get it done before this meeting, but the different agencies working together, there's just different moving parts that we just can't get it done today. So again, I hope that assures everybody with this, but this is just a snapshot. Think of it as a general view of the Cascade Mountains, and really it just gives that capture to for the general purposes of the director's report. And so we can still continue with this and go into this rabbit hole, but I think for the purposes of this meeting, it doesn't go into that deep dive. And so I apologize, but we can move on, or you can decide, President Gaskell, what to do next.
I want to go to Elizabeth, has her hand up.
I was just going to basically piggyback on what Rugi said, because I know that we have a potential additional meeting scheduled coming up in possibly August to kind of delve into this a little deeper. And so I think until then, we just need to just kind of go through it real quick.
Sure. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Rugi. Chad, go ahead and just keep going where you were at.
Thank you, Rob. And thanks, Rugi and Elizabeth, for that. So I believe we're at inspections. So here are all the inspections done on a quarterly basis. And you will see for the fourth quarter, we will be at 84%, or we at 84%. So that's looking really good. And then just as an explanation, inspectors continue to support licensing as part of their job. And then here's the list of investigations, case status from the previous board meetings. A number of them have been closed, which is really good to see. And then here's the case status of the last board meeting that we had. And you'll see a majority of them have been closed in various capacities. And then last but definitely not least, IDP. Here are the numbers from process from April 1st through June 30th. And there's and then the table of the calendar year 2023, 24, 25, and year to date 26. So unless anyone has any further questions regarding any of these particular sections, I guess it's ready for approval. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Chad. Do I have a motion to approve the executive report? The director's report, I'm sorry.
I motion to approve the executive director's report.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None being so, it's approved. Okay. The board welcomes public comments. An email to which was given out for this public, just email and we'll get to you on that. Anyone wish to address the board can go to that email. I'm trying to paraphrase because we have a sign-up sheet saying, and will be recognized at that time. And we want to keep comments to a minimum, and I will navigate that. So is there any public comments? Raise your hand maybe, or Aaron, do we have anybody that wants to speak?
Let me check.
I'm sorry, I said Aaron. Ryan, do we have anybody that wants to speak from emails?
I don't think we've been made of anything prior to this
Okay.
meeting.
So I don't see any hands up. So none being, I'm just going to pass through this a couple times so I could see in case it comes up. I don't see anything. Okay, so let's move on to general discussion and action items. Our first one is to schedule a board meeting for the OMCB budget option follow-up. So, Neil, this was kind of to your question. We're going to have this meeting, but I have a question for you, Tony. Is that a public meeting, or can that be, is that executive or public? Is that executive session or public?
It's going to be a public meeting, but if to the extent you have any legal questions that you'd like me to opine upon, that portion would be subject to executive session.
Okay, I see. So we could go into executive, but it's going to be a public meeting for the most part.
Correct.
Okay. So can we set a date for that meeting?
Well,
And
Rob,
Chad,
if I may, I'm sorry, Rob. If I may, I have a narrative I'd like to share with everyone beforehand, and then we can maybe schedule or work on finding some August availability, if that's okay.
yes, that's
Okay.
good.
All right, thank you. So before we move into the regular agenda, I'd like to provide a brief update on the follow-up from our June special board meeting regarding the budget shortfall. I wanted to share this at the beginning of general session so you have an understanding of the progress that has been made since our June discussion. I also want to let you know that we will be scheduling a special board meeting in August to present the completed analysis, recommendations, and the FAQ. With that context, I'd like to provide a brief update before we continue with the remainder of the general session agenda. Since our June meeting, I have been focused on reviewing the circumstances that contributed to the budget shortfall and the underlying financial information, identifying opportunities to strengthen our budget development and monitoring processes, and evaluating additional internal controls and reporting practices. Throughout this work, the priority has been ensuring that any conclusions and recommendations are accurate, well-supported, and based on verified information. While significant progress has been made, there are still financial reconciliations, reporting details, and implementation discussions that need to be completed with DAS Shared Financial Services and our other financial partners. Completing that work will ensure the analysis and recommendations presented to the board at the August special board meeting are comprehensive, accurate, and supported by validated financial data. On July 8th, Aaron and I met with our financial partners and later that day with DAS Shared Financial Administrator. During those discussions, we agreed to work collaboratively to establish additional checks and balances that will strengthen financial oversight moving forward. Those improvements include DAS Shared Financial Service providing financial presentations to the board at least twice each year, which was recommended during our last special board meeting, as well as developing two additional financial reporting tabs, one dedicated to the IDP fund's revenue, expenditures, and cash balance, and another dedicated to the agency's operating and administrative account. As these improvements are implemented, we will continue meeting regularly with DAS Shared Financial Service staff and ensure the new processes provide greater transparency, stronger financial monitoring, and more timely information for both management and the board. We will also continue meeting regularly with CFO and LFO and establish a framework for periodic licensing fee increases to help ensure this situation does not occur again. One of the board's requests was a written FAQ addressing questions such as how we arrived at this point, what contributed to this situation, and what steps are being taken to help ensure we do not encounter a similar issue in the future. I want to acknowledge that I have not yet finalized that document. That was a deliberate decision because I wanted the FAQ to reflect the work and analysis completed since July, rather than provide preliminary responses that might later require revision. By the August special board meeting, we expect to have the benefit of the remaining reconciliations and validated financial data from DAS Shared Financial Services, allowing us to provide more complete and well-supported responses. The FAQ remains a priority and will outline the contributing factors, lessons learned, corrective actions already underway, and the longer-term process improvements designed to strengthen financial planning, monitoring, and transparency. My goal is to provide the board with a document that serves not only as a response to your questions, but also as a resource to support future oversight and governance. I will provide that document at the August special board meeting, and as I finalize it, I will also consult regularly with the board officers to ensure it fully addresses the board's questions and expectations. While there is still work to complete, I wanted the board to know that significant progress has been made since June. I appreciate the board's patience as we complete the remaining work, and I look forward to bringing you a comprehensive report and FAQ at the August special board meeting. And I guess the last thing I just want to say, if board members have reached out to me individually with particular questions, and sometimes that has resulted in meetings, in one-on-one meetings. So if you have questions in the interim, please feel free to reach out to me and I will work to address those questions. Otherwise, the plan is for us to schedule a special board meeting in August to have what I have covered here and have a more well-rounded and knowledgeable and thoughtful discussion moving forward. So thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Chad. That is a good overview there. So now we can go ahead and schedule a time for that meeting. Does that sound okay with everybody? Are you, what date are you thinking of? I'm thinking like, can we do like mid-August, like the 13th or something like that on a Thursday, or we could do the 11th, keeping everything on Tuesday.
Sorry, Rob. Rugi has a question or a comment.
Yeah.
I believe it's because of his limit or his schedule, because it's so.
That's true. Go ahead.
So
No. It has
I'm
nothing
sorry.
to do
Okay.
with the schedule.
Okay, jump to a
I will
conclusion.
carve out time. I do want to comment about this. It was very clear in the public meeting in June that there was specific instructions to the executive director that a narrative is to be established by this board meeting, and you have explained that you had deliberately done that, I quote. When were you planning to inform the board officers or the board members that you made that decision? Because I hope you understand, we were very explicit in the last board meeting that it's due today. And you already said in your statement, you deliberately made that decision. Were you informed, President Gaskill, that he was going to not submit it by today?
So there was some confusion in our conversation between the another letter and that one, and I can't deny or say absolutely that I said yes to him holding off on that deal. I was going to talk to them privately about this and figure out what's going on there. But on the other hand, we will be following up with this privately and at another time, Rugi. So if we could just go ahead and move on from here. And yes, this was specifically asked and it didn't happen. And my understanding is the impression I gave is that would be fine. So I've heard more information about it. So it could be on me too that happened. If Rugi, we could please just get this date set and understand that you and I are going to be having other conversations with Chad and Aaron to further this discussion.
All right. I just want to be on the record that I'm surprised, thoroughly surprised about this decision without being appraised about this. So I just want to put that on record.
Thank you, Rugi. So what do I need to do? Just throw out a date and everybody say yay or nay on this meeting? Let me go back to my calendar.
Rob, I will just say typically we do meet on Tuesdays. So I don't know if people are conditioned to that day of
That's
the week, but that's typically how
so.
we
How
do it.
does
So
Tuesday, August 11th sound to everybody?
This is Neil. I'm only available until about 11:30. I really want to be part of this meeting, but I can only be available till 11:30 on the 11th.
Understood. We don't want anybody to not be there. That needs to be.
It may be impossible to get it at this point for everybody to
Yeah,
be there, but
well, sure
I
it
could
is.
be there for, depending on the time and how long it takes for the meeting, I would be available until 11:30.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
How long do you expect this meeting to last? Because we do have a OFDA district meeting, but it's scheduled for the 25th. So that Tuesday is not available, just so
Okay.
you know.
Well, I don't think the meeting will last as long from the 11th till the 25th.
I know that is silly. I just mean like how
Yeah.
long, because I'm thinking if it's only like an hour long and, you know, like Neil's saying, we could just do it in the morning and virtually, or is it something we have to be in person for? That's something else we need to find out and figure out.
Mhm. I have no idea how long that meeting is going to last. It depends on how accurate our information is and our and how we are able to move forward. So, Sherry.
Are there, Chad, other deadlines as far as for rulemaking or when all of these decisions have to be implemented for the financial health of the agency? So is there like an absolute last day that we should have a board meeting in August in order to meet other timelines? I don't know what those timelines are.
yeah, that's a good question. Aaron, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but with rulemaking, because with the timing that we'd maybe kind of penciled out, do you recall in our timeline what flexibility we have?
Yeah, so July 27th, that's the last day that we can have the notice of proposed rulemaking submitted into OARD. So everything starts from that date forward or back from November 1st. So depending on the fee structure in option 6 that was selected, that information and that proposal has to be submitted by July 27th. And then from
And
there, we
so-
have a certain amount of time to do other steps.
So we really need to have this meeting before that because we still don't know if everything in that is legal and all that. So we need to have that meeting at the end of this month. Right?
If correct, otherwise, if we submit we submit the notice of proposed rulemaking and something changes, that will have to be retracted. I'm sure there's a process to do that, but it will postpone all of the future steps as well.
Okay.
And,
Well,
I'm
So
sorry.
Aaron, technically, we have until the 31st to file it, don't we? Because for it to be put in the bulletin for the next month.
We do. I
think we were planning to have a little advance
a few
time,
extra
right?
days. I don't
Yeah.
like to rush. I don't like pushing up anything to an absolute deadline. So we do have until Friday the 31st. I have it in our calendar as being done on Monday the 27th.
And I want to remind the whole board because I dove into the financials. If we get lucky, maybe we will be having cash to pay the bills by October. There's a potential as early as September we will be out of cash.
Is it possible to do it on the 18th instead of the 11th?
well, we got to do it in July. So
Oh, in July, okay.
because if if this has to go into the next step is July 31st is the last day. And I want us to have this meeting before we submit anything. Because we got some legal advice we need over this and some steps that need to happen before we can do that. Am I wrong, anybody?
So we would need to meet most
Yeah.
likely next week sometime,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we could meet as late as the 27th or 28th. I mean, I know you want the 20. Yes, Ryan. You're
Thank you.
muted.
I just heard the mention about being out of cash sometime in October. We were initially discussing September, but after reviewing the board meeting from January, which I unfortunately was not able to be part of, but reviewing that, Aaron, you had mentioned that we were able to claw back, I think was the phrasing, claw back some funds, and essentially that there is not a crisis that will be occurring in September or October, but that we were essentially stable until January, or not January, slow down here, June 30 of 27. Is that correct?
That's correct. The clawback, in addition to shared financial services deferring a required DAS payment out a few months. There are some other situations, though, that we haven't talked about. There's only one primary one, but that could change things. But that would have to be discussed in the special board meeting.
Yeah, and I do remember that too, that we are okay till the end of the year at least. And if it was, thank you, Ryan, for bringing that up. So we do have funds to last us till the end of the year. Should we, well, I was going to say we could do a poll or whatever to see what date would work best, but I think we just need to make a decision on doing this. Mondays are usually very difficult for us funeral home owners and funeral directors, period. Just because of the weekend, and then we got a lot happening on Mondays. So, Aaron, would you be okay with us doing it on the 28th instead?
Yeah, provided that if our intent is to get the notice of proposed rulemaking out by the 31st, Tuesday the 28th looks fine. I'm incidentally out for medical surgery on the 29th, so I'll be out that day, but I should be back Thursday and Friday. But Tuesday looks open. The only change would be drafting up the licensing fee part of our rules, which, if there are changes, shouldn't take that long to do or much time. So I think that
should we do it at the end of the week of like the 23rd or 24th? Would that be better?
It would certainly give us a little more time to model out certain situations. I think if the board changes, I don't want to say changes their mind, but changes direction, etc., I would like to have some time for shared financial services to provide a look over of the work and the decision and model out if that carries us forward in the future.
Okay, so I'm going to propose 9 a.m. on July 23rd. Does anybody disagree or have a issue with that date and time? That's a board member.
I have
Barry?
I have a dental appointment at 10:30.
Okay. Sherry?
I just wanted to ask a clarifying question. Is the FAQ and all of those materials expected to be ready by that meeting? And so then just checking with Chad if that is the expectation of the board, ensuring that that's enough time to work on getting all of that info.
If that's expectation, I will meet it.
Hey, Tony, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
That's fine. I'm out next week, but I will find a colleague to staff that for you all.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. You better not be having fun. That's all I got to say. So
It looks like,
Deb,
I'm sorry,
right
Rob,
now,
looks like Brady has a comment maybe.
yeah, go ahead, Brady.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I will not be able. I will not be available on the 23rd. Actually, that week I'll be preparing for my own board meeting the following week. which is on the 28th.
Would Friday work better for everybody? The 24th?
That works for me, Rob. Thank you.
It works for
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah, I can make
Does
that work.
anybody have a problem with Friday 9 a.m. on the 24th? Share, Holly? You're muted.
Yeah, I have a funeral all day that day. I won't be able to do anything on Friday, the 24th.
Well, a good funeral director would just tell them to wait. No. Is there a problem for anybody but Holly? Does any other board members have an issue with that date?
No, I'm good.
I'm not seeing any hands up. So Holly, I'm sorry, you're outvoted.
That's fine.
And we'll keep you posted. So we're going to do this meeting July 24th at 9 a.m. And I'm sorry to Chad and Aaron that this is putting you guys under the gun too. I did not realize thank you, Sherry, my hero. She always saves my life from HR. She to bring that point up that we really got to have this done before the due date. So thank you for that. Let's
Rob,
go ahead and who's it?
Forgive me, Rob. Excuse me. Forgive me. How long do we think this is going to be? A couple hours?
At least I would assume it
Okay.
could be I would at least think till noon. You know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Or schedule it for that long anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
So are we good with that date? Let's move forward onto the next board best practices voting for FY 2026 fiscal year. Acronyms, I hate them.
Thanks, Rob. So as you recall, every board meeting, I briefly review this, just mention it, that there's the best practices self-assessment evaluation that's always included in your iPad packet. Since the fiscal year has ended, 26, those who have served as a board member for that full duration of time, so Brady and Elizabeth, you will not be participating in this voting time, and next year you will. So Aaron will be emailing you the slip. If you recall, I believe there are 12 categorical sections that you will vote true or false. And if you could get those back to Aaron by the end of business today, so we can collect and tally those, that would be greatly appreciated.
Great. Administrative fees schedule. Ryan.
Thank you. So this was provided to the board members in their packet, and I have no comments to make on this. So unless there are questions.
Any questions about the administrative fee schedule?
The only comment I have is I think that our NSF fee is extremely low. $15.
It's $15.
Our
You
bank
said
charges $35 for an NSF fee. So.
Banks charge more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we address that now? Chad?
Well, what we could do is we could look internally what is charged to us, I guess, when that happens, and we could represent that at the next board meeting.
I think I'd like that because
Sure.
I don't want us losing money on an NSF
Sure.
charge.
I appreciate that, Melissa, for bringing that up. And thank you, Chad and Ryan, for working on that.
Yeah, so we will, at the next board meeting, we will present, we'll do some research on what kind of the internal costs are and present that.
Good. How about, let's go to accounts receivable update by Aaron.
Okay, at the last board meeting, there was one case with 3 respondents. 2 of the respondents had civil penalties and notices of proposed disciplinary action sent. Those were both paid in full. Our overall accounts receivable balance is now at $105,588. There is one remaining write-off request that I'm going to bring to the board next session. I was able to locate paperwork that indicated that DAS actually sent it back to us and it was eligible for us to write off. So I'm going to do that. There's just one more rabbit hole I want to go down with Douglas County to make sure there's nothing there. And if you approve that write-off request next meeting, that will be a significant amount to come off the books. Other than that, everything is going well.
Any questions or comments for Aaron? Okay, executive appointment update.
Thanks, Rob. At the last executive appointments, Kevin Loveland was reappointed, and I looked at the end year, and it's a shock. 2030. Does that date even exist? I guess fairly soon. So Kevin was reappointed for his second term, and sadly, Rob and Deb will be terming off at the end of this year. So I have some potentials in the works, not to replace that, not to replace Rob and Deb, but to take on those positions. So more to come as things become more solidified in identifying potential individuals to serve. And if you, of course, if you are attending, OFDA, if CAO, you have people who are interested, please share that information, because I believe that's how Melissa came onto the board, is just as an interest thing. I think you maybe reached out to someone who was actually on the board, and I think that's how it came. So, and look, wonderfully, Melissa came onto the board, so that's wonderful. Elizabeth, I think, has a question or comment.
Yeah, so what are the positions that they hold? What are the specific ones that they hold?
So Deb is a public member, and then Rob, I believe, is a combo licensed individual, so FSP embalmer. Yeah. So unless there's any question, that's all I have for executive appointments.
Thank you. Sylvie, you want to go over the newsletter a little bit?
Well, actually, sorry to intercede, but due to the busyness of all that's needed, special board meeting preparation, everything, the newsletter is being delayed because there are some things that I need to work on. So that will be finalized hopefully more within this week or next, and will go out. So apologies for the delay, but there's been other pressing matters, but we're working on finalizing the next issue.
Understood. So OFDA recap.
Yes.
Convention.
Typically I'm able to share about it because I attend, but due to budgetary constraints, I didn't attend. So I kind of want to defer to those who did attend. Elizabeth was appointed as OFDA president, which is wonderful.
Yay.
Round of applause for that. Rob and his band played, I think, played their hearts out at the evening event. And then Deb, I believe, our esteemed board member, spoke. So maybe I'd just like to hear a little, maybe a little commentary or recap from those who attended, since I wasn't able to attend, but I heard it was a really great success.
And Holly turned out. So
and
we definitely need to hear from Holly.
She was on for a long time. Wasn't like
10 years?
10 years or something?
400 years, I think it was.
4
407 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody want to comment on the convention? I thought it went well. I really loved Deb's speech that she did. Her talk was really, really good and interesting. So thank you, Deb, for that. President Elizabeth Johnson over there. She's rocking it out. So do you have any comments, Elizabeth?
Well, I'm going to be the last one to comment because I have a lot to say, so other people can go first.
I thought it was great. I loved every minute of it. I kind of want to go back next year.
Excellent.
You definitely can go back next year.
I
We'd
know
love
it.
to
I
have you
plan
back.
on it. I plan on it.
Excellent.
And by the way, Deb can party pretty good.
I can party with the best of you.
Yeah. Holly, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was really great. I thought it was well attended. I think that venue is a good venue for everybody. I had a lot of fun with your band opening night. And yeah, I termed off after 10 years on the OFDA board, so it was a little bittersweet, but I'm enjoying my extra free time that I have dedicated somewhere else, weirdly enough. But yeah, no, it was a good year.
Anybody else want to comment before Elizabeth? Go for it, Elizabeth.
Alrighty, so we definitely had very, very good attendance. When we were doing our recap during our recent meeting, we found out that we actually had better attendance than we've had in the past, and so we did really well as far as our budget and everything went. And so we plan to use this to kind of figure out what to do even better for next time. And it's my understanding that we have speakers that are coming to us now. So that's pretty cool that we have people from all over the US who are asking to come out to Oregon to speak. So that's really exciting that we have kind of made ourselves known a little bit. And there were quite a few people who I saw at other conventions. I went to a conference later that for the NFDA that I saw some of those people later, and that was a lot of fun to be able to do that. We have set up time and dates for district meetings. So the OFDA does have district meetings coming up. So the next ones, and I will send out like a flyer with all this information as well, but just so that everybody has the dates kind of in their heads. So the next one, August 25th, is going to be in Pendleton. And let's see, September 30th is going to be in Medford. January 19th, I have it written down as either Florence or Coos Bay. We haven't settled on which one yet on that one. And then March 2nd at Mount Hood Community College. And then we have the convention in Salem, which I'm very excited about because that's where I'm at.
You don't have to drive far.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
well,
totally
thank you,
throwing
and-
ideas at Jim Jackson because he's the one who's the incoming president. I'm like, you can do this and you can do that. And this is all about Salem. But anyways, I'm excited.
Well, the last 2 years, the speakers have been really good. And
yeah,
I thank Angela McKenzie-Tucker and you, Elizabeth, for making that happen because it's very relevant information that's helpful for individuals in our profession. So I appreciate our OFDA very much. Okay, let's go to IDP.
Just one more thing. Sorry, just one more thing. We are going to be creating another board, kind of like within the OFDA. So the OFDA does have subcommittees, and I will let you guys know a little bit more about that. Like I'll send out info about that. But we're also going to be creating another board because we are trying to put together a museum here in Oregon that showcases the funeral or death industry. So that
Okay, cool.
is, so we're gonna try and start a museum. So it's a totally separate board, totally separate thing because it's a nonprofit that we're gonna be starting. And so it's something that's going to be that we have to do a little bit of research on, and kind of so if you know of anyone who is interested in joining that, let me know, because we need people from all over, who is all different. They don't have to be in the industry. They can be anybody who has experience. So again, I will put out more information, but just wanted to put that last little bit of info out there for you.
That's great. IDP Advisory Committee update.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That's all great information, and looking forward to hearing more about the museum. That's exciting. So for the IDP Advisory Committee update, I sent an email out, I believe, to all of you that included the email that Aaron sent out, recruiting for IDP committee members. And I think as I shared also, has been asked by many funeral directors in the industry. I reached out to the Hospice Association. Wasn't sure what kind of response I would get. They responded actually very quickly, and we have a name of a person who will participate as a representative of the Hospice Association on the IDP Advisory Committee, which I think will really hopefully be, well, I believe will really be helpful, because that information can be shared accurately, and hopefully there will be kind of the trickle-down effect of that person representing hospice can share the actual information of what IDP is intended for, the requirements, etc., the purpose. So I'm excited by that. And the interested people have until Thursday, July 16th by 5 p.m. to submit their interest. And then we will submit all of those names to the board officers to determine what a good diverse group will be, how many, that type of thing, and then we'll move forward with scheduling meetings and starting the committee. So I'm encouraged and excited about the review of the program. So
Good.
Unless there's any
I am
questions.
too. I thought it was a great idea for you to reach out to hospice on that. Ryan?
Thank you.
You're
I am
muted.
just
There you go.
wondering if we could get some indication as to what this committee will be doing differently from the committee that was formed to do this back in 2020.
It's always good to review and update things, and that's what we're doing. Okay, that ends general session. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the public that is here, and I appreciate that. And nothing else being needed. I don't think we have to read anything at this point until we get into executive session. So
Yes, we do.
I will. We do, okay. Then
Yep.
Rugi
As
will read
delegated
that for-
by, as delegated by the board president, we will now enter into executive session, which is not open to the public to attend. The upcoming executive session is being called under the authority of ORS 192-610 to 192-705, ORS 692-180-1 and 4 and 5, ORS 676-165-5 and 6, ORS 696-1751 and 8, ORS 192-6602, large L and 9 for this board. And that's it, basically. Now we can adjourn. Mr. President, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Rugi, and thank you all for being here. And we will reconvene at an executive session at 10. I better look at my watch, make sure that's right. 10:15. Does that sound good? Give it a 10-minute break.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.